Yes, good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president and urban translator for United in Peace, Inc. We got a very interesting show. I want to thank everybody that came out and voted, especially those that voted for the candidates that allowed me to be a part of their teams as an urban translator and political consultant. I'm talking about Governor J.B. Pritzker, Alexis Janulius, Jonathan Jackson, Judge Rena Marie Van Tyne, Judge Thomas Moore Dunley, also Attorney Timothy Wright, and Attorney Deidre Bowman. They all won except for my friend. And I'm not going to give up. We're going to try it again. And that's Sister Deidre Bowman. So this show was put together especially for you, my viewing audience, the registered voter, to know the power of those who come out to vote. By none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. She's also the director and producer of this show. And that's my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. And the technical wherewithal is being done by a charming young lady by the name of Sylvia. Let us go. Let's go to work, Sylvia. To God be the glory. Here's our story. Yeah.
Tonight, because so many of you took me on that journey, I am honored to stand before you as the Democratic nominee for Illinois Secretary of State. A few moments ago, I received a call from Secretary Jesse White, who told me that we're going to work together to make sure we keep this seat in Democrat hands in November. And now it's time to build a better Illinois and a better future for everyone who lives here. And I have the privilege of taking the baton from Secretary Jesse White. For 24 years, Secretary White has steadily improved an office that was scandal-ridden before he took it over. He has undoubtedly left the office better than he found it, and my job as the first new Secretary of State in a generation will be to build on that foundation. When I first entered public service, and many of you were in that room, I told you all that I wasn't running to be something, but to do something. What I am running to do is to make Illinois a great example for the rest of this country. You see, I love this state. Illinois is where my parents came when they both separately arrived in this country as immigrants. It is the state that gave them the opportunity to live the American dream. It's the classrooms, the teachers, the basketball courts of Illinois that made me who I am. And it is the state that my wife, Joe, and I have decided to raise our family in. But as with anything that you love, sometimes you have to fight for it. As a state and as a nation, we have some enormous challenges ahead. But that doesn't mean we sit back and complain about all the problems that we're facing. It means stepping up and fighting to make sure that we are part of the solution together. I want to make this state and the Secretary of State's office the best in the nation. And I know that for our government to really gain your trust, to know that it works for you and not just special interests, that's why my ethics plan will not only be my priority number one, but will be just the beginning of an effort to make Illinois a leader in ethical and transparent government. We will repeal, yes, We will repeal the corruption tax. We will repeal the corruption tax that has plagued our state for too long. I will focus on modernizing the office and making it a leader in e-government, whether it's through our Skip the Line program, chatbots on the business services site, or digital licenses and IDs. I will make it easier than ever to interact with and receive services from the Illinois Secretary of State. To regain your trust, government has to respect how valuable your time is. That is why I'm going to end the time tax and make sure you spend less time in line or filling out forms that cut through the red tape and bureaucracy. We have a number of other ideas, but I know you guys have been waiting a long time, so I'm going to fast forward. None of these ideas and policy proposals, however, will be possible if we don't beat back the unprecedented challenge to our democracy. As the January 6th hearing tragically have laid bare, we faced a violent coup against our capital and our democracy less than a year and a half ago. Instead of coming together after that and agreeing on how to strengthen our democracy, January 6th apologists have responded by proposing to limit the right to vote and to disenfranchise voters. That is unacceptable, and it should be unacceptable to everyone. My now Republican opponent has already proposed ending the motor voter program, making it harder for those eligible to vote to register. One of his Republican colleagues in the General Assembly has introduced legislation to cut back on your ability to cast your vote. Well, I have a simple message for them: not on my watch. My Secretary of State's office will proudly take up its place on the front lines of protecting American democracy. Our democracy is dependent on the right to vote, and that is why I will ensure that we have the best automatic voter registration program in the United States of America. Illinois will not put up barriers preventing you from exercising your fundamental democratic rights. The opposite, we will make it easier to register and to vote. The right to vote is more important than ever. Radical minority is using the courts and procedural measures like the filibuster to frustrate the will of the majority of the American people on a woman's right to choose, on reasonable gun control measures, and more. And distressingly and tragically, they have promised to do even worse in the future. Over the last several days, I have rallied with Americans that have declared we won't go back. And as long as we protect the fundamental building block of American democracy, the right to vote, we won't have to. But make no mistake about it, our voting rights and thus our democracy are on the ballot in November. Our journey together has reached an important milestone, but we still have a long road to go. I want to thank you for getting me here, but I need you all to fight harder than ever to get into November. I thank you all for your faith in me, in our campaign, in this movement. As many of you may have figured out, I'm a big Top Gun fan. And I'm not making any comparisons, but I love watching Maverick get back into the race. And I want to start by thanking all of you. I want to thank my team. I have the best team in politics. I mean, fearless, no bad days, wouldn't let me have a bad day, relentless, one of the best run campaigns I've ever seen. Yes. I want to thank my family. I want to thank my wife's family for their support, my friends who I kept on calling asking for money. I'm sorry about that. But keep your phones on. And I want to thank the elected officials. See, Robin Kelly, my former chief of staff, who's an outstanding congresswoman. My hero and the toughest lady you'll ever meet, Jen Schakowsky, is in and there are other electeds, and if I miss you, I'm really sorry, but You know who you are, and more importantly, I know and I remember who was there for me. So thank you. Thank you for believing in me. My parents, my father can't be here. I know he's watching. And I went and visited him today with my mom, and I love you. Hopefully I'm making you proud. And to my mom, who, is the American dream. She's right here up front. She is the American dream. She's all my good qualities I have because of my mom, unequivocally. I love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for teaching me so much about how to be a better person. And then I want to recognize 4 ladies in my life. When you win a race, you're not supposed to talk about your campaign team, but she demands to be recognized. Hannah Jubei is the baddest lady. There were days where I thought she wanted to win more than me, and I was like, so-and-so's not calling me back. She was, give me that damn phone. And she would just a beast. You are inspirational. You are a badass. You are not my campaign manager. You are not a staffer. You are not my friend. You are my sister. Thank you for believing in me. And I've got these 2 beautiful little ladies here. And I thought I was happy and I had life good before I had these girls. And everything I do is for you guys. Everything I do. And if you're thinking about running for office, or if you're in office, the only reason to get involved in politics, because it's a tough business, the only reason is to do it for the next generation, is to do it for kids and grandkids. I told you this morning I wasn't sure if I was going to win or lose. I was lying a little bit. I had a pretty good feeling. But we don't want anyone to not tell the truth. But I love you guys more than you could ever possibly know. Anna and Sophia Janulius. And I brought along stage with me this 9-month pregnant woman. We thought it would be great for our summer plans to have a kid a week after Election Day. Yes. She is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And she is sweeter than me. She is kinder than me. She is kinder than me. And she keeps me grounded. And with all her love and dignity and grace, she is tough. She keeps our family together. And when I have a bad day, she just looks at me and says, "Get your ass up and let's go." And I could not be a luckier guy than to be married to the most incredible woman I have ever met in my life. This might be the last time that some of you see us as a family of 4, so please keep us in your thoughts and prayers. The last group of folks that I want to thank before we start having some fun here are the men and women of organized labor. Who have just been the bedrock of every campaign I've ever run, have been the best friends, have always stepped up when I need them. Also, I call them a lot for finance and money. But to the men and women of organized labor, this is who you fight for when you're in office. You fight for working families. You fight for people who wake up every single day, play by the rules, and just want a shot at the American dream that my parents crossed an ocean for. So thank you for believing in me. Thank you for your support. So it's going to be a tough race. We have 4 months. We need everyone's help. We need you to continue to be involved. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. We need everyone to be a part of our team. And I promise you this, you will not find a candidate that will work harder than me. And I promise you this, you will not have a Secretary of State that you will be more proud of than me. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
You know, that was a very spirited race. Knowing he and my son went to Tulane together. Both of them graduated from Tulane. My son ended up going playing international basketball over in Iran, and then it actually went overseas and played ball. So I'm glad I was a part of his campaign. But here's another one. Hit that, Sister Sylvia. A lot of people thought that he was trying to run for president. But J.B. Pritzker is letting the world know that he is purposefully focused on being re-elected governor of the state of Illinois. Like you heard Alexis Janulius say, even with the Secretary of State saying he's going to support him, because we cannot afford for Illinois to become a red state. We can't afford for a Trumptonian ticket to become the governor or the Secretary of State. It's key, so please come out and vote in the November 8th election to help re-elect J.B. Pritzker as the governor of the state of Illinois. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. I got to do this? Okay. I'll tell you what. While I'm getting this together, let's go to Jonathan. Yeah, hit that. There you go. You know, Jonathan Jackson, let's hit it. Let's speak for itself. Go ahead. Thanks.
Voted for Congressman Jonathan Jackson. Come on down, son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got it. You got it.
I want to say a very special thank you to my friend and pastor, Reverend A.R. Leak, and the son thereof, Spencer Leak and Spencer Leak Jr. and Spencer Leak the third, fourth. The family keeps on growing, keeps on coming. I came by today because I wanted to quickly get even.
Better listen.
Sometimes people think of getting even for those that did you wrong. I've got to get even with those that did me right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, go ahead,
So, a very special thank you to the Leak family.
Yes, sir.
I've got to recount this story over and over again because Reverend Clay Evans taught us it is dangerous to forget.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And so when my father, Mrs. Jacqueline and Jesse Jackson, stopped going to the University of Chicago for their seminary program,
That's right.
and Spencer Leak was the driver for Reverend Martin Luther King in Chicago,
Better listen.
which was not a paying job and not a popular job. Let me take you back to that era. if you
All
will.
right, go ahead.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes,
Take your
sir.
time.
Before they built the walls around Oakwood Cemetery,
Yes, sir.
Better listen.
on 67th to 71st from Cottage
Yeah.
over to the train tracks. Blacks could not be buried in Oakwood Cemetery.
Better listen.
That's right.
There had to be demonstrations and marches led by Spencer Lee and Reverend A.R. Lee Sr. so that blacks could be buried less than 2 miles away from here. Our nation went through an era of insanity.
You better listen.
That's right.
Blacks and whites could not be buried in Chicago, up north, in Spencer Leak's lifetime.
You better listen.
He brought those walls down. When my father and mother met the Reverend Martin Luther King again, and he says, come and be a part of our movement. I want your youth and your energy. And my father says, but I have children, and I'm a student, I'm on scholarship. He says, I will teach you more about the seminary in 6 months than you will learn in the next 3 years.
You better listen.
And that's why he joined his movement full time. But he needed housing. And there was Reverend A.R. Leak, who gave my mother and father housing.
Yes, sir.
Me, my brother, and my sister.
That's
I
right.
thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
dangerous to
Thanks
forget.
for the.
Yes, it is.
And I want to say a very special thank you to those in radio that are listening. God bless you. I appreciate your confidence in me for giving me this opportunity in this primary season to have your vote.
Yeah.
17, 18, 20 people showed up. I wasn't concerned about the task in front of us
That's right.
Yeah.
because I knew who was behind us.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
I knew the timing was right, and I knew what the stakes were.
Yeah.
And I asked God, if you choose, please send me.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
We have seen the nation run out of baby formula,
Yes, sir. Said that.
and bullets and guns are flying off the shelf.
You better listen.
Yeah.
We're seeing outrageous and egregious behavior in our everyday. This morning at 7:30 this morning, I'm driving southbound on Lakeshore Drive at 7:30, coming from a breakfast meeting. And I saw a car accident at 46th and Lakeshore Drive going northbound.
Yeah.
So I pulled over to make sure no one was harmed. And there were a lot of cars stacked up. And I saw one person run over the median from the northbound through the southbound and over into the train tracks.
No.
Then I saw another person skip and run. And then I saw a young lady with her garments in her hand running over.
No.
These young people had stolen a car,
Yeah.
crashed into some people,
No.
and were running.
No.
Only to turn on the news to see an officer hurt an injured ear and someone shot over there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got to go another way.
Yes, sir.
We got you.
I pledge to you to do my best
Yes, sir.
to bring another generation. It's time for a generation that Spencer Leak was talking about.
That's right.
To assume your right to vote.
You better listen.
And what does that mean to me? I did not want to sit on the sideline and be an analyst for the rest of my days
That's
in my
right.
life.
Thank you.
You have got to get on the field.
Got to.
Where you're going to get some grass stains, some blood stains. You've got to get on the field.
Yes, sir.
The election results hurt my heart to see 20% voter turnout.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Follow that what Reverend Leak just shared with you. The minority selects
Yeah.
who will be your leader.
You better listen.
Yeah.
That means people lost by default.
That's right.
I've told my children oftentimes in school, Reverend Leak,
Yeah.
there's only one F you
Uh-huh.
cannot get.
Yeah.
You may fail to understand. You might have forgotten it because you didn't read it.
All right.
But the only F you cannot get is forfeiture.
You better
All right.
listen.
Said that. Said that.
When you don't show up
Yeah.
You better listen.
by forfeiture,
Yes, sir. Speak.
don't curse the dark, light your candle, do something.
Yes, sir.
I knew the headwind that I faced when I started running.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, you did.
Jackson this, Jackson that. People had a lot of stuff to say about my family.
You better listen. You better listen.
Yeah.
People had a lot to say.
Yes, sir.
That did not deter me because I knew the substance and the good that was there.
You better listen.
I was determined to run on in spite of, regardless of.
That's right.
Because I know what the truth can.
All
You
right.
better listen. You better listen.
I want that to be an example for many others. Many may talk about you, but get up.
Get up.
Stand up.
Thank you.
Show up.
Show up. All right.
I would not have gotten an F by forfeiture for failure to even try.
You better listen.
I knew I was going to try.
Yes, sir.
It was in God's hand and the people's hands
Said that,
on
son.
who would be the victor.
Said that.
But I was willing to try.
Yeah.
I want that to be the takeaway today.
Yes,
Willing
sir.
to try.
You've got some friends and some family members. They need to be willing to try.
Yes, sir.
If you can, find your local housing authority board,
You better listen.
Say
your
that.
block club board,
Yeah.
your automatic board.
Thank you.
Some people aren't against you. Some people aren't thinking about you.
Yes.
Some of the people that we have that are going downtown
You better
don't
listen.
even know we exist.
You better
right.
listen.
That's right.
You better
They
listen.
have stopped representing you a long
Time
Yes,
ago.
sir.
time ago.
All right now. Said that.
They're not against you in downtown. Sometimes we're not bringing it and saying what it is that we want.
You better listen.
Yeah.
When we have our major department stores that sell us food and clothing, undergarments,
Yeah.
Target, a Fortune 50 U.S. corporation,
Yeah.
pulls out of the South
You
Side,
better listen.
Gone.
and there's not even a whisper.
You better listen.
Gone.
I saw the trend better than 30 years ago when the world's largest convenience chain,
Yeah.
7-Eleven,
Yeah.
pulled off of the South Side. I didn't know what to think of it,
Yeah.
but they pulled off. You do know 7-Eleven operates in Chicago.
You better
Right.
listen.
That's right.
You
Yes,
do
sir.
know they operate even on the South Side,
That's right.
but you do know they don't operate on the South and the West Side in the black community.
You better listen.
They do not. Yes, sir.
You
Speak.
see that Whole Foods closes in Inglewood.
You better listen.
That's right.
When you see that all these closes on 76th and Ashland,
Talk. Yes, sir.
how can you have a food desert?
All right.
And I don't even like that sanitized word for racism in agriculture.
You better listen.
How can we not have access to food? Now, what does that mean that you don't have a grocery store in your neighborhood?
All right.
That means that your housing properties are going down
You better listen.
Yes, sir.
because nobody wants to move there.
Yeah.
What does it mean when you don't have a grocery store in your neighborhood?
Big.
That means women's health will get worse,
Yes.
not better.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
What does it mean not to have a grocery store in your neighborhood? That means children will be born sicker,
Mama.
not healthier.
Yeah.
I was looking at a nature channel the other day and I didn't realize that the baby, when it's in the womb, it has to take all the nutrients from the mother, and the way nature has it set up in God's own wisdom is that the baby takes the nutrients first from the mother. So if the mother doesn't have enough, it starts taking it even off the mother's bones.
That's
Better
right.
listen.
That's
The
right.
baby in its fight for life
Big.
has to get all of its nutrients. So when the mother cannot get food,
Huh?
the baby cannot.
All right. Say
And what
that.
little food there is, the baby is even going to strip out of the mother.
Yes.
So the mother's going to be sick.
Mama. Tell it.
What does it mean when you don't have a grocery store in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
And you've got a Department of Agriculture
Huh?
in this district, or the first district that ranges 60 miles
Yes,
long
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
from the
sir.
south end of the loop to almost Kankakee.
Tell
When
it.
you don't have a grocery store and you got farmland within the district,
You better listen.
Right.
you got the urban consumers and you got the rural producers in the same district.
Yeah.
We're going to get some food back in Inglewood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Yes, sir.
What does it mean when the shopping stores close and the grocery stores close and no businesses are opening and there are no cranes in the skies and
Tell it, tell
vacant
it.
lots are expanding? I love this city and I love our neighborhoods.
Say that.
We have got to turn it around.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to be coming back to you because I'm going to highlight these issues and
Yeah.
I'm going to need your help.
Yes, sir.
This is the very first step of a long road to go.
Yeah.
When I look at our children in these neighborhoods,
Tell it.
you know, it takes 20 years to create a healthy, whole
Yeah.
human being.
You better listen.
You can't do it in one summer.
No, sir. Say that.
You got to have a long-term plan.
Yeah.
The reason I was so upset in 2013 when they closed 50 elementary schools
You better listen.
on the south and west side.
Yeah.
Did that make our neighborhood safer?
No.
No.
Who needs to make money for for-profit off of children going to school?
You better listen.
Go ahead.
Why did that bother
Tell
me
it.
so much on these for-profit, specifically charterizations of schools? And
Yeah.
because I'm speaking, they're going to be coming after me.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
Don't-
to see
we wait.
as well.
That's
Yeah.
right. We're with you.
Understand this. My parents did not have the means to give me a speech pathologist.
Yeah.
But by law in the public schools, you have to give the child all the services that they need.
Yeah.
It was only because I was tapped out of the regular class and while other children went to play at the recess,
Tell it.
and I was able to see a speech pathologist and say tush, should, could, would, and be able to untie my tongue. Am I
Mama.
able to speak today?
Yes, sir. You better listen.
Tell that.
In these
That's it.
for-profit public schools,
Yeah.
that is discretionary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, given the chance between making more money and putting more money into
Tell that.
children,
Tell
what
that.
do you think happens?
Yeah.
They say it doesn't fit the budget.
All right.
So I'm telling you, our children are underinvested.
Yeah.
They've had divestment.
All right.
When you look at these schools,
Yeah.
where the pools aren't filled,
You better
when you look
listen.
at these schools and the tennis courts
Tell
don't
that,
have
Johnny.
coaches.
You better listen.
When you look at these schools and the gyms don't have coaches,
Yeah.
and then you wonder why they're running around all night long.
You better listen.
I'm not.
We have not put the necessary investment in human development.
Yeah.
Well, with your help and God's blessing, this is only the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
when I
sir.
started this journey, I first called Reverend Leak,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
and he was manning the shop, making arrangements
Yeah.
at night. And without any invitation, I knew to just show up. And
Yes,
I was
sir.
next in line.
Yeah.
And he's always maintained that.
Yes, sir.
And then I came in there, and to his surprise, he said, "Son, I see you. I just told Spencer I want you to run for that seat."
That's true, Steve. True.
He said, "I just told my son." And I said, "Reverend Leak, I think I want to do it." He says, "You're the right person for
That's
this
right.
job." And it's been the last 5 months. It's been exhilarating. It's been exciting. I've met so many wonderful people. We have so much work to do.
Yeah.
And I just can't help but say, thank God, thank God,
Thank God.
I look forward to this next chapter. I want to thank my mother and father, Reverend and Mrs.
Thank
Jacqueline
them. Yes,
Jackson.
sir.
Yeah.
I want to thank Brother E. Mill Jones.
Yes, sir.
Brother Mill Jones has been
That's
absolutely tremendous. And there have been so many people. So I'm going to ask you in leaving, let's get your children and your grandchildren involved.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Say that.
When Reverend Leak says only 20% voted, let me tell you how that works. There's 707,000 people in the first district, for
Yeah.
example.
All right.
435 people in the Congress, 100 people in the Senate, 2 other federal elected officials, president, vice president, makes 537. That's the whole pool. And they divvy up each district, do reapportionment to
All
the
right.
state, and then come back to figure out how many people are likely voters. Then they go into a thing called 4+.
You better
Voted
listen.
in the last primary, general.
All right.
And let me tell you, that's the universe.
You better
So
listen.
out of that 707,000 residents, where there are 400,000 people that can vote, they're only going to mail to 40,000 people because they're the ones that voted in the last 4 elections.
You better listen. You better listen.
All right. Say that.
Vote.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say it one more time.
One more time.
Out of the 707,000 people in the district,
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
700.
out of 400,000+ people that can vote,
Yeah.
when they look at who voted in the last 4 consecutive elections, and they can say primary, general, primary, that is the 4+ voter group.
That's right.
That is the ones that they target.
That's right.
And the way this software is now, it is so sophisticated.
You better listen.
All right, sir.
So you may say, I didn't get any mail. I don't know what's going on.
Because you didn't vote.
The statisticians say you don't count.
That's right. You better listen.
Say that.
You're like, I only missed one. No, then for the dollar they did have to spend, they only put it on the people. So you can sit right there in the same apartment, same unit next to someone and get no mail.
You better listen.
You know, the wonderful thing about what he's saying, he educating us to what is happening. Yes, it's a shame that the numbers of African Americans that's registered to vote and the people that's registered to vote don't come out. But the most important thing is those who did come out. And with technology being what it is, that's why I thank God for allowing me to be an urban translator and a political consultant, is I know how to get our vote out to make sure that we have the right one in office. And I want to thank you, those of you that came out and voted, especially those that came out and voted for J.B. Pritzker, Alexi Janulius, and Jonathan Jackson, and those judges. To God be the glory. That's my story. Vote, don't choke.